Chapter 63. More Sacred Symbols. Life Force. In the Rig Veda, the god Vishnu has a powerful disc called the Sudarshana Chakra, disc of auspicious vision. The disc symbolizes Vishnu's control over time, and it is used as a weapon that can destroy even the Asuras. The architect god Vishvakarma harnessed the energy of the sun to make the Sudarshana Chakra for Vishnu, a Vimana, flying vehicle, for Brahma, and a Trishula, trident, for Shiva. The avatars of Vishnu also wielded the power of the disc. At one point, Vishnu presented the Sudarshana Chakra to King Ambrisha as a boon for a prosperous kingdom. In Persia, the god Ahura Mazda is shown holding a ring which symbolizes his power and authority. In the above image, Ahura Mazda presents the Kavarena, ring of royal glory, to Ardashir I, who united the Sasanian Empire of Aryans. The ring is used by all the Yazatas or gods and is a symbol of good fortune and light. Yima once lost his Kavarena. In Mesopotamia, the gods are shown holding a ring with a rod. The ring and rod is a symbol of the mes, powers that the gods wield. In Enuma Elish it reads, Marduk is king. They bestowed upon him the scepter, and the throne, and the ring. They gave him an invincible weaponry, which overwhelmeth the foe. Marduk's father Enki had his mes stolen from him. Thus, a mes is a tangible item and not magic. It was used as a database for knowledge of all the arts and sciences of civilization, much like a cell phone connected to the internet. It also had power to control weapons, like a remote control for missiles or other weapons of mass destruction. Here we see the sun god Shamash holding the ring emblem of power as he gives Hammurabi the law code. The rod and ring was called a Shen ring in Egypt. Gods held it as a symbol of eternal authority and power. Ankh. Egyptian hieroglyphics have the Shen ring and a similar symbol called an Ankh. The Ankh is a symbol of life force. The gods that hold the Ankh hold the knowledge of extending life, and of life beyond the grave. Below is a scene from Tutankhamun's tomb which depicts Anubis and King Tut, who is being fed an Ankh by Hathor, thereby granting him eternal life. We have seen sky gods like Vishnu with a disc of power, Ahura and Ashur with a ring of power, and Set with an Ankh. So what is the symbol of power for the Norse sky god Thor? It is his hammer, which is called Mjolnir. Thor used his hammer as a powerful weapon and for ceremonies such as performing a wedding. The Mjolnir was, and is, hung by a ring as a pendant for religious ceremonial use. Today, the pagan use of the Mjolnir is on par with the Christian cross. Horned Yogi. Images of an unnamed man sitting cross-legged with a horned helmet and surrounded by animals was imprinted on clay tablets in India over 10,000 years ago. He is considered a proto-Shiva figure. Shiva is Rudra, the god of the waters. Images of this man made their way to Mesopotamia along with shipments of goods. In Sumer, a similar engraving showed up on a man wearing a horned helmet, accompanied by animals that are associated with him such as fish and goats. He was called Enki by the Sumerians, and he is the god of the waters. Notice how Enki's messenger Izamud has two faces, resembling the horned yogi of the Indus civilization, the later Brahma of Hinduism, Janus of ancient Rome, and Triglav of the Slavic religion. This relief sculpture from the Gunderstrap cauldron was found in Denmark. It shows a horned man sitting in yogic posture surrounded by animals. He is holding the ring of authority and power called a torque. This illustrates that he is a god. The cauldron was made by Iron Age Celts. The horned yogi is unnamed, but modern pagans refer to him as Ceranos. Egyptian gods, such as Thoth, were also shown wearing horned headdresses and holding an Ankh. The horned yogi, adorned in these various lands, is the same god of wisdom, He is Enki, Shiva, Thoth, Ceranos, Prometheus, Pan the son of Hermes, etc. Winged disc. The winged disc is the symbol of the flying disc-shaped vehicles of the gods. The symbolism is similar to a sphinx in that it is a composite of 4 animals: bird, bull, serpent, and human. It is like Ezekiel's wheels within wheels that move in all directions. In Persia, the head of the gods, Ahura Mazda, is the rider of the Faravahar. It is carved in the ancient walls of Persepolis, and it is portrayed above the entrance of Zoroastrian temples. The Assyrians' main god Ashur was depicted in the winged disc that resembles a wheel. Hebrew artists depicted their god Yahweh riding a flying wheel with wings. Many early inscriptions of this symbol are found on Sumerian clay tablets. Some associate it with the planet Nibiru, others with the sun. The wheel has a double cross in it, which is a symbol of the heavens and the god Anu. Ancient Egyptians used the symbol of a winged disc with snakes and bull horns above the entrances to their temples. It is called the Behedeti and represents Horus the Elder, aka Osiris, aka Ra, aka Amun. In Greece, it became the staff of Hermes, or the caduceus, and the saucer shape became a winged sphere above 2 snakes. Native tribes of America have totems and petroglyphs that depict a mythical thunderbird which resembles the chariots of the gods. The winged disc has been adopted by secret societies like the Rosicrucians, Masons, OTO, and others. Companies like Chrysler, Bentley, and Harley-Davidson have also modified the symbol to make logos. A winged wheel is the logo of the Detroit Red Wings, a Michigan hockey team. It is seen in the design of Air Force lapels as well. The Nazi coat of arms and the Great Coat of Arms of the United States also bear similarities to the ancient winged disc. Pyramids. When the Greeks went to Egypt, they saw the large stepped edifices and thought they looked like layered cakes, so they called them pyramids, which in Greek meant wheat cake. From left to right in the image above, we have the Pyramid of Djoser in Egypt, dated to around 2600 BCE, and the tomb of King Kashta in Sudan. Of course, many more pyramids have been found in all of these areas. In the Middle East and Persia, we have 5,000-year-old stepped pyramids called ziggurats. At the highest point of the ancient city Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley is a pyramidal structure. Many later Hindu temples are also stepped in design. Kinshi Huang Mausoleum is a stepped pyramid near Xi'an, China. This area has more than 100 flat-topped pyramids that have not yet been excavated. It is assumed that they are burial mounds. Cahokia is an example of pyramids in Cambodia. And to the south, in Java, Indonesia, we have pyramids like the Candi Suku and the Gunung Padang, which is said to be the oldest pyramid in the world, 9,000 to 20,000 years old. Pyramids have been discovered in the Polynesian islands too. On the Rapa Iti Island in French Polynesia, there is an ancient pyramid called Morongo Uta. Megalithic polygonal stones which have been held together without mortar for thousands of years have also been found in all of these areas. Various pyramids made by the Norte Chico civilization still stand around Caral, Peru. The famous site of Machu Picchu, Peru, also has a pyramid built around a very ancient altar, cut right from the bedrock, called Intihuatana. Up in Mesoamerica, we are, to this day, discovering more temple complexes in the jungles. The Temple of the Jaguar in the Mayan city Tikal, present-day Guatemala, is strikingly similar in design to the Bakse Chamkrang Temple in Cambodia. The Olmecs and the Maya reused the ancient pyramids and built some of their own. Like the Inca in South America, it is clear that newer building styles were used over the top of more ancient and more complicated structures. Tourism has made Mayan cities like Tulum and Chichen Itza well known. Chichen Itza is the temple complex where the above image of the Temple of Kukulkan stands. The Mayan city Palenque has a pyramid called the Temple of the Inscriptions. Inside this pyramid we find 3 main chambers, reminiscent of the 3 chambers of the Great Pyramid of Giza. At the lowest chamber was the sarcophagus of King Pakal. Parts of his body were covered in jade, just like the Chinese emperors that have been excavated. The lid of his tomb is where we got the image of Pakal and the Tree of Life. Many pyramid complexes were used by the Aztecs around central Mexico, such as Teotihuacan, the city of the gods, with its Temple of the Sun, Temple of the Moon, and several smaller pyramids. Teotihuacan was built by a mysterious group that disappeared before the Aztecs came on the scene. Some say it was the legendary Mexica from the north, who were followed by the Teotihuacanos, then the Aztecs. The Aztec capital, Tenochtitlan, was built a little south. It also has a complex of pyramids. The ancient and forgotten pyramid building culture that spanned the entire world was in North America too. The so-called mound builders made flat-topped and stepped pyramids all along the Mississippi River that date back 5,000 years. In fact, burial mounds with the remains of large bodies dot the whole continent. I saw them as a kid in my home state Michigan and in Florida. As for the builders of these megalithic structures being giants, this was common knowledge in Abraham Lincoln's time, as he mentioned it in passing while talking about the Niagara Falls. The pyramid at Cahokia in Illinois is one example of the remains of the mound builder civilization. The pyramids of China and North America have been hidden, disguised, and destroyed by governments in an effort to continue the narrative that modern humans are the pinnacle of civilization in the universe and that no culture has ever surpassed our current state. However, it can be encouraging to see the potential for growth that we have. Colossal heads. At the entrance of the Mediterranean Sea to the Atlantic Ocean stood the Colossus of Rhodes, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. It has since been destroyed, even more than the Colossus of Constantine depicted above. Those were ancient, but not as ancient as the Great Sphinx of Giza. Egypt has a plethora of awe-inspiring colossal statues. Colossal statues of the gods were erected on Mount Nimrut, Nimrod's mountain, in southeast Turkey by King Antiochus in the 1st century BCE. Being a Greco-Iranian ruler, he synchronized these gods with the Greek pantheon of Zeus, Hera, Apollo, Ares, Hermes, and the Persian gods Ahura Mazda, Comagene, Mithra, and Artognes. One of the statues was of the king sitting with the gods, depicting his apotheosis. These larger-than-life statues of the gods also synchronized well with the neighboring Babylonian gods, Anu, Ishtar, Shamash, Nergal, and Marduk. They could represent the Canaanite pantheon as well, with El, Alat, Baal, Hadad, etc. In South Asia and East Asia, there are many colossal statues of the gods, especially ones that depict Lord Shiva or Lord Vishnu in India, and many also of the Buddha and Kuan Yin in China. On Easter Island, Rapa Nui, stand the Moai colossal statues, once thought to be just heads, till more recent findings that they have bodies which have been covered over time. They are said to be the ancestral gods that watch over the island. Many colossal heads have been found in the jungles of Mesoamerica that are attributed to the Olmec civilization. Without inscriptions, statues like the Sphinx, the Moai, and the Olmec heads are impossible to date, as they are stone and not made of carbon-based materials, so they remain mysteries. The Inuit statues called Inuksuk are found in Alaska, Canada, and Greenland. They were made by the Inuit people and have become the representative symbol of the people. There are, of course, many other colossal head and face sculptures from antiquity. There are also modern large-scale statues that are noteworthy, such as the Christ the Redeemer statue in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and the Statue of Liberty in New York, which was based on images of Roman goddesses. As Mount Rushmore is carved on the side of rock, it can last many thousands of years. Maybe a future civilization will find it and speculate whether the faces were the images of some gods.